So what's going on, guys? My name is MrDalekJD and I'm extremely excited today to show you that Treyarch have just given us a brand new loading screen for Mob of the Dead as part of the final Call of Duty Zombies comic, issue number 6. This is no joke, this is no clickbait, this is indeed a brand new loading screen from Treyarch and you can see it on screen now. The left side of it is completely unchanged from what it originally was inside of Black Ops 2, but on the right it is vastly different, as it seems that the page that was there has been ripped off to reveal some more notes underneath, which is extremely exciting. Now, if this has gotten you excited, Treyarch are finally giving us brand new stuff on Mob of the Dead. Make sure you absolutely destroy that thumbs up button. Let me know how excited you guys are down below in the comments, and we're going to go ahead and start breaking this thing down. So in the original Mob of the Dead loading screen, everything you saw was both drawings and handwriting by Albert Al Arlington, the Weasel, of course. Now, it seems Richtofen has just said, I don't really care about all that, and has completely ripped off the page. Now, what's exciting is on the left, it's got the time and date, which is the exact same date as the original, February 26th, 1932. But from that newspaper heading, which on the original mentions the Wall Street in panic as stocks crash from October 17th, 1917, this, however, is a newspaper which you've seen quite a few times now, and this just goes hand in hand to link in at how important that newspaper is, and we'll go into that a little bit later into the video. So jumping onto what exactly we can see that's brand new behind this ripped page, we have a few different icons and images which have been drawn in by Richtofen. We have the two blood vials of the two inmates which we've been carrying since Origins, beautifully illustrated right there. To the right of it, I believe that is another image of the blood vials, which is the actual image of it being broken off, like as if the blood is being used, and underneath we have what appears to be what I at first believed to be Richtofen giving another version of Richtofen the blood vials, but upon further inspection this is a insane image here, and I don't think at first you'll quite get it, but this is Primus Richtofen talking to Stanley Ferguson, the warden from Mob of the Dead. You can clearly tell on the right that's Richtofen by his nose and the sort of utility belt he's wearing, and on the left you can see what appears to be the warden. As you can see, he's wearing the same hat as he does inside of the cutscene, and this is the first time we've seen Stanley Ferguson since he became zombified and became Brutus, the boss warden. Now in the chronorium it mentions that Richtofen and Stanley Ferguson have a deal with the Illuminati to create this underground Alcatraz lab, and that's what we see in the final issue of the comic. And if you guys haven't seen that video, and you haven't seen me reading the final comic issue, then make sure you click the link in the description or the little interactive eye in the top right at some point before you finish watching this video. Trust me, we dive into a lot more things in this, and there are some bombshells. That was just the first one. Keep watching. We have what appears to look like a toothbrush and some sort of object that's being either encased around the toothbrush. I have no idea what that is, to be honest. Underneath we have some writing from Richtofen. Says, I have a secret, I must follow the plan, and indeed from the comic he really does, and we know he does throughout all of Black Ops 3. Underneath it we have some very weird device which at first to me looked a bit like a washing machine, but I really can't work out what that is. If you guys can, let me know below. And what's very interesting is we have to the right the afterlife symbol, and it says in Richtofen's own handwriting, this symbol, I can't get it out of my head. And this is exactly what Albert Arlington writes on the original loading screen. He writes the exact same wording, this symbol, I can't get it out of my head. So potentially Richtofen can also enter the afterlife when he visits a specific version of Alcatraz. We really don't know. And underneath we have what we know to be the chambers containing our 4 transit characters, although it looks very different in the comic compared to how it's drawn here. And this could either be an illustration of the transit characters frozen on ice, or this could indeed be the original versions of our characters in each universe that we do see in Der Eisendrache. And then on the far right we have an image of Primus Richtofen coming through a teleporter or rift into the dimension where this is taking place right now. But this is the most high-def version we've seen of Mob of the Dead so far, and as it's been with every Call of Duty Zombies comic issue loading screen that we've had, they were originally teasers for Zombie Chronicles. Now, Jason Blundell has openly admitted that Mob of the Dead was not suitable for the Zombie Chronicles pack. It was destined for a particular purpose and to follow the specific story to kind of catch you up, but Mob of the Dead has its own setting and its own place within that sort of things, and that potentially hints to me that we will definitely see Mob of the Dead at some point in the near future. It's been hinted at enough times now that I feel like this is just the little teasing we need to show that events are happening a little bit different now within Mob of the Dead, and perhaps we might indeed see it in the next game. It's not a guaranteed thing, but I really hope and pray that they do, and Treyarch have heard loud and clear how much we really want to see Mob of the Dead being remastered. And I'm exceptionally happy that we had Mob of the Dead as the final comic book loading screen, as I think it's something which we've all wanted to see, and we saw it a little bit in one version of the comics where it was like a mash between Kino and Mob of the Dead, but now we have it. But one of the more interesting things to me, rather than this other page we have, because whilst it's exciting, there's so little to it that it's very hard to make out, and it's probably stuff we won't understand for a long time, but it's that newspaper we see behind the loading screen which is extremely exciting, because if you notice that, it is the exact same newspaper that we saw in Der Eisendrache, and we also recently discovered it was on the Moon remaster as well. And this is a newspaper called Extra, the world source of news, and the main headline on the front is it starts off with a huge parade in London, and as we use that plunger in Der Eisendrache, we're changing the events of history, and we eventually teleport the zombies to cause a zombie outbreak, and the headline for it is Zombie Attack in the Heart of London. And as we see in this Mob of the Dead loading screen, we have the very first bits of that headline, and we have new sort of like blood smears all over it, because we've seen these newspapers to be very clean, there's no blood on them whatsoever, so you can assume that the newspaper that we're seeing here is in the actual heart of where this attack is taking place. And we see it says Parliament gathers for emergency meeting, and that's exactly what it says on the other versions of the newspapers. So with that in mind, it feels to me like they really are hinting at a London based setting for a future zombies map, perhaps maybe the first map we see from the next game, perhaps a future DLC map, or maybe something we'll just hear about in terms of the storyline. We really don't know. Now, I did a interview with Jason Blundell back in May, and I uploaded the first part of that a long time ago, and you guys have been continuously asking for the second part, and I've not uploaded it because I felt there just wasn't enough content within the second part for me to be happy with it. It's mainly Jason just saying no to every question I ask, and the questions, the quality of them deteriorate as it goes on from me getting denied all the time. But I did ask him about the London newspaper Easter egg, and I feel like it's more valuable information than ever for you to see Jason's response. Now we've seen this newspaper not once, not twice, but 3 times, and when I originally asked him this, I didn't know that the newspaper existed in Moon, and of course only he knew that the newspaper was going to be in Chronicles, as well as it being in this remastered loading screen. So take a look at his reaction. And can you explain at all what the London newspaper Easter egg is all about? Because it's something which we've done at the time, and we didn't really think about it. And it's one of those, it's like probably the Easter egg you just don't really think about in Black Ops 3. And like, you're changing a historical event. You're teleporting zombies with a plunger into London, into a parade.
I love the plunger.
Why?
Why? What a good question. But unfortunately, we're out of time.
Oh no! You can't do this to me. No.
Oh yeah, you're not getting me on that one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd call a juicy question then?
That's a good juicy question, yeah.
Okay, I'm
it's
glad.
A nice one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now after that, I'm feeling like I might as well just upload the second part to that interview at some point as well to show you all the other things he denied, but I feel it's more important than ever, and it's very, very relevant to show that he completely denies even remotely talking about it. Like, I mention it, he instantly says no. Then I kind of realised he said no, but I continued talking, and he said it's a really good question, but but it's something which I just can't answer. So with that in mind, it really feels like this is what we should expect within the next zombies game, something involving a zombies outbreak in the heart of London. Now, as time goes on and we digest this loading screen as well as the others, and of course the storyline information from this comic, I'll of course be bringing you more videos where we can theorize loads of different things. But I want to know inside the comment section down below, what are you guys thinking of this final loading screen and everything coming together in the most craziest of ways? I mentioned it in that interview about the newspaper Easter egg because I do have a point. It's so random and out there that there was nothing more to it, and I guess I just wasn't patient enough because there definitely is more to that story. If you guys want to make sure you stay up to date with the latest zombies information, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you drop a thumbs up as well. It's sad that this is the final comic we're getting. We're not getting anything more from this story, so we're going to have to wait a good year until we see more. But I can't wait for this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You've been amazing, and I'll catch you next time.